Good morning, fellow option traders. This is Jeff, and welcome to the Daily Scan. It's Tuesday, April 21st, 2015. Yesterday's announcements, there weren't any really, and there aren't really any for today. Well, it gets a little bit busier as the week wears on. So moving on, I love it on days like this. Across the ponds in Asia, mostly bullish, and in Europe, looks like it's mixed, I guess you could say. That would probably be the safest thing to say. Alright, here in the U.S., it is looking gappy at the open, and that's gapping to the upside. Gold is below 1200. Boo. Oil's at 57.63. I guess you could boo that one too. The dollar's at 98.46. So what, you say? It just means that Europe is at least against the euro anyway. The dollar's strong, so we can buy stuff made overseas. Cheaper, I guess you could say. Or if you want to go on a trip, or, whatever. The dollar's strong, the dollar's weak. I don't know, really, if that's any sort of indicator for like GDP or earnings, or how much you're making, how much of a raise you got, how happy you are. Gee, I don't know if it has anything to do with any of those things, but it may play a part, like so many other small little things play a part in our lives to add up to a total. Okay, on the account, we opened this SPX trade yesterday. We'll take a look at that. We had also RUT and Priceline. Priceline didn't do anything. We'll take a look at that when we get to it also. So going quickly, Apple had a very nice day yesterday. I'm happy for them. But we have earnings coming up, so we're going to stay away from it. Amazon also had a very nice day. The whole market generally, as a rule, had a pretty nice day yesterday. BIDU, all these have earnings, so we're just going to wait until post-earnings and then get back into hitting them up with some 50 deltas. But this one would have worked. This one could have been a candidate. And actually, it's an alertable trade right now. Still could possibly do something with this, because the increasing IV, let's take a look here. The increasing IV does not really affect. We don't even have a market maker move in here. Oh, the earnings are next week, so I don't think we get a market maker move till next week. So we're looking at about a $13 move. So if we were to, increasing IV is not going to bother a 50 delta trade. Price movement really has more to do with it than implied volatility. So we're at 210, maybe 212.15. Is there enough volume here, though? Let's take a look. 212.15. We have 428 open interest. That's pretty decent. So if we were to do a 50 delta on that, that's a $2.50 spread. Would be looking for $1.25. This is pretty close. And whether it stays above 212 or not, we're at 211.96, and 212 is just right about here. So that would be definitely could happen. Definitely could happen. Friday was a bad day for the market as a whole, but as you can see, BIDU gapped down at the open and then it recovered, so that's telling us a little bit something. So even though earnings is next week, I'm putting an alert on this one, and I'm saying let's get above this high here. What was the high? The high was 213.22. So you want 213, say 50. All right, there we go with that one. Okay, Chipotle. It's pretty consolidated in its movements here. Earnings are tonight. This is way too rich to do an earnings play on. Could just take a shot at a direction. I mean, that would probably work. I would be willing to bet that Chipotle would probably have good earnings. Let's see here. Not so hot there. Pretty decent there. Very decent there. So 1, 2. Well, 2 out of 3. It's not, it's, I don't know. See here, they beat on their earnings per share, but there must have been something else mixed up in this news here that got people a little riled up. Here they're expecting even about the same, 361, and here 378. They're expecting a little bit less here. Would you bet against or for a big move up, a good earnings report with a nice movement on their stock? I don't know. I have no idea. So because of that, moving right along. Costco still headed to the toilet here. Maybe we're approaching an entry in the next day or so. I was trying to look at their news, and apparently they're doing a buyback and raised their dividend. So it's a pretty good deal on Costco there if you're holding their stock. The Dow, what did it do yesterday? Well, it's definitely working on keeping itself above this trend line here. We have a good amount of support down here, so yeah, it did that. Okay, well, maybe it's going to stay above it for a while. Gold still looks pretty gappy right here. Google, yeah, we got earnings this week. Thursday after the market closes, they always have earnings. This is a regular expiration, right? Oh, this is weird, because usually Google has their earnings announcement the Thursday before the normal monthly expiration, so this is a little bit unusual for them. But we're staying away. And LinkedIn, I would imagine LinkedIn is next week. Now, we don't really know what's going on with LinkedIn because we have some conflicts here between the weekly and the daily. And we got earnings coming up, so stay away from that one. Pretty much can imagine what this NDX picture looks like. Yeah, this is a simulated 50 delta trade here. It was hurting, but we went ahead with it anyway, and we entered here, and we got the double green. Only it looks like from a MACD perspective it's kind of failing, but still, overall on a weekly, it's still in an uptrend. So our simulated trade here, I'll take a quick peek at it. Well, we had a simulated trade. What happened to it? Did I delete it? I went through and deleted a whole bunch of simulated trades. I may have deleted that puppy. But anyway, that doesn't matter so much as just watching the line that I put in here for that trade. Netflix. And looks like it might be cooling down a little bit, so we're waiting for it to come down here and give us an entry. It still might be a little bit too early for it. Priceline we had on our list for yesterday. It's still ripe. It's still setting up, so put it back in here, and that of course would be a 50 delta trade. I'm going to throw an alert on there just as kind of a reminder. It's not alertable, but it is an alert. Russell was also on our list for yesterday, and believe it or not, it didn't really give us an entry. So we still could put this back on our list. This is a little bit unusual where you get, we go green on the MACD but not on the stochastic. Usually stochastic leads MAC, but we're going to put RUT down on here for today as well. That would be a 20 delta trade. SPX, we did put a 20 delta trade on SPX if it ever comes up here. And there we go. Here's our strike, short strike down here, and it is a see, we're not even seeing it now. I think it's a, what did I do? I did a, look at my notes here. I did a May 4 weeks out, or 30 days, or however you want to put it here. Yeah, this was 32 days yesterday. It's 31 today. The rest of these trades all kind of not looking too bad. We're up 64 on the simulated trades. I have this set to hide positions. So on the charts, I wanted to just show you what I did yesterday. I couldn't see this line when I drew it. So what I did was I went up here to the little wrench, which is the chart settings, and I went to price, and I said I want to see, give me a buffer of 10% up, and it was 5% down, and I changed it to 20% down. And when I did that, I was able to see this line down here. So if things take off a lot to the upside, well, if it does that, I probably won't care. But I still do want to be able to see this line, so I may have to bump that up a little bit. So all the charts are a little bit compressed. You have a lot of, well, dark matter up here, I guess you might say, and down on the bottom. So we're 10% on the top side and 20% on the bottom side. That's what that means. So we have this little buffer zone here, which kind of squishes all the candles down, but I think we can still work with that. And last but not least is Tesla. Here we have a downward sloping trend line in here, looking like resistance, but Tesla looks like it has popped above it and it may hold it. That doesn't mean it's moving up though. It means it just broke the trend and may continue it, actually, just at a different level. And it looks like we're rolling over here on the daily, so I'm not really interested. There's no directional momentum at all in Tesla at this time. Okay, so be that as it may, we have BIDU, we have an alertable trade on BIDU, and then we have set up still today on Priceline and on Russell. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and happy trading.